In the U.S., food is packaged and sold in a consumer-driven market. In the early 20th century, poultry was produced locally for home meat and egg consumption. As people moved to cities, they raised less of their own foods and began to buy more from other producers. In the 1930s, the poultry industry consisted of many small farms that grew poultry for local consumption. Most poultry meat was sold as New York dressed birds, retaining the viscera, feet, and head. Only the blood and feathers were removed during processing. Purchases were made for immediate consumption. Fresh, whole poultry was the choice product. Then, the introduction of refrigeration into nearly every home in the U.S. allowed consumers to buy and store fresh meat. The focus of poultry processing then shifted from New York dressed birds to whole, ready-to-cook poultry that had the blood, feathers, head, feet, and viscera removed. In the 1940s and 1950s, the poultry industry moved toward fewer but larger poultry companies. These companies were vertically integrated, meaning a processor owned breeder flocks, chicks, a hatchery, a feed mill, transport trucks, a processing facility, and a product distribution system. During the 1950s, fast food was introduced to Americans. Consumers began to order more white meat than dark meat products. By the 1960s, the demand for whole carcass products dropped below 15% of the market. In the 1970s and 1980s, Americans continued buying cut-up poultry. They were willing to pay a higher price for this convenience. In the 1970s, consumers became more health conscious and demanded more poultry products. Dark meat became more important in the export market. The 1980s saw increased use of poultry in fast food markets. In the 1990s, the rotisserie chicken market increased significantly. Also, meal assembly kits were introduced to consumers, often featuring pre-cooked poultry. In today's market, less than 10% of the chickens in the U.S. are sold as whole birds. Popular products include the boneless, skinless, breast fillet, and chicken tender. In 2016, most Americans are 2 to 3 generations away from the farm. Because of this, they are very sensitive to issues surrounding animal welfare. This has led to the creation of niche markets that are willing to pay more for poultry that is produced under certain conditions. Natural poultry or organic poultry products are currently leading the trend of alternative poultry marketing.